Never gets old. Oh, Ben's
Hey,
Ben's bargain.
for royalty free, that's not bad.
I'm gonna have to scour this
Or
royalty-free
you could
site.
just make your own.
Well, I didn't have time today.
Well, yeah, I'm
But
just saying.
the
Yeah.
goal is, you're correct. I'm gonna make something.
Yeah.
But
DIY
we
it.
need to know the vibe. Like, am I playing groovy folky music or epic strings? I don't know what we're doing. Or maybe I'll write specific versions of an intro for the topic. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't
You're
know.
thinking. That's good.
So let's talk the impending apocalypse and how I'm the first to go.
You don't have faith in yourself?
Oh no, I have plenty of faith in myself. But I think there are certain factors that would hold me back that I mean, a lot of people suffer from like asthma and stuff, but dude, at the first sight of the first missile, I'm robbing every pharmacy within a 30-mile radius.
They'll be there stealing, there'll be people pillaging for opiates. And you're like, I'm not here for that. I just
Yeah.
need some Advair
Be like, guys,
and an inhaler or two.
steal all the Norco, all the
Morphine.
amoxicillin, all that, which is great. Go for it. But if you touch those inhalers, I'm blowing your brains out and your 5-year-old child. Thank you for coughing in the middle of my podcast.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
But that thought crosses my mind all the time. Like, I've got about as long as inhalers that I own. If I can get 300 inhalers, I'd probably be okay.
You could buy them online.
Not if there's an apocalypse.
No, I'm saying stock up now.
Oh, stock up now.
Prep.
Well, yeah, I thought about it. I have been stocking up nebules for the nebulizer. I have 30 boxes. Obviously, I would need solar generator or a gas generator, but we'd make it work. So that I'm good on. And I can live without the other medication. But I got to get a gun, man.
Well, we have a small arsenal.
This I know.
It's funny because about 6 years ago, I really got into like prepping. And because I could sense shit was going south, I kind of foresaw a lot of this shit coming. And for a long time, I told Mike I want a gun, and he didn't want guns in the house because of the kids. And I go, well, you lock them up, you get a safe. And he was not about it. Well, you better believe come 2020, 2019, 2020, he was like, yeah, we need some stuff. I was like, oh, you finally see what I've been saying.
Yeah.
But then he went overboard,
Well, anything worth doing is worth doing right.
But I think, people make fun of like preppers all the time. There's nothing, everyone, no matter where you live, what you believe, everyone should have extra food on hand, extra water, or an ability to filter water. And just like your basic everyday needs. You should always have extra, right? That's just smart, you know? So when people were running out and hoarding shit during 2020, if you were smart and you planned ahead, it really didn't affect you that much.
Yeah, I would just shit in my hands.
But with the whole toilet paper thing, that I didn't understand. But
It was, in my opinion, um, it they shorted it purposefully.
well, yeah, a lot of this,
Of course.
yeah,
Guys, we didn't run out of toilet paper.
no,
There's warehouses at Charmin Industries full of toilet paper. People make it sound like there's an actual shortage, which is kind of part of the point. There isn't. There isn't a shortage of anything.
yeah.
It's
It's just
manufactured.
yeah, it's all manipulation. Manipulating the market, and yeah, if people don't see that by now, I don't know what to tell them.
So
I don't know how do people not fucking see what's going on?
because they don't want to. They don't want to think these companies are intentionally shorting stock and manufacturing. People don't want to. People want to listen and be spoon-fed this misinformation, and they don't realize that the end goal is to get everyone running around disorganized, and that's the goal. The goal is to make you, folks, the goal is to make you as confused as possible.
The name of the game.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Distraction and
Right.
confusion.
Look at this Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Yeah.
Don't look at these schools being bombed in the Ukraine. Hey, look at this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff going on over here. Don't look at, the beheadings and all this other stuff and your
$5 gas, grocery, your grocery bill.
I don't want to get political, but this is interesting, and this is somewhat related. I watched a mini documentary on how food manufacturers, and this is going to resonate. You're going to get this immediately. Food manufacturers are intentionally making everything smaller because studies show that people respond to price increases, but they don't respond to smaller portions. So the candy bars that you think to yourself, man, this Snickers, when I was a kid, this thing used to be so much bigger.
And you kind of second guess yourself because you're like,
Right.
when you're littler, things seem bigger than they really are. So
Right.
you're like, was I just so small that it seems so big?
So-
or is it like actually shrinking?
It's funny that you say that because about 5 years ago, an actor, I think he was on The Office, I don't remember. He was on Conan O'Brien, and he brought a Cadbury egg, and he said in front of the audience and on television, this Cadbury egg, he was like, I remember it being so much bigger. And then he scoured his house and found a Cadbury egg from 3 or 4 years prior and brought them both on the show and held them up, and sure as shit, it was about 25% smaller.
And it's not like one was like the mini version
No.
and one was like the jumbo.
And they're
or
both the same
something.
price.
Same price, yeah.
And Cadbury, on their webpage, their exact statement was, they haven't gotten smaller, you've just gotten bigger.
Yeah, see, they're
And then the Conan thing happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then they scrubbed it from the website.
Of course.
And then they gave some bullshit about, oh, well, demand and markets and blah, blah, blah. No.
No, Cadbury. See, here's the thing, okay? These fucking companies, I would respect a company more if they just said, we've, in order to make profits and to pay our workers a living wage, we've had to, make a product smaller so we can charge the same amount. Like, if you're honest about it, I don't think very many people would be angry. But when you come out and you're a fucking liar, and I can't stand that shit.
Well, Toblerone, a few years ago, 2014, I believe, they decreased the size of their candy bar by, 15, 20% by increasing the gap between the pieces. And people lost their shit. And then a couple years later, they went back. But I don't really give a shit about the honesty of corporations. I don't expect any corporation to be honest. But if I'm paying the same amount of money for 4 rolls of toilet paper that I was 3 years ago, but I'm paying the same amount, but I'm getting 20% less roll, that's a problem. Because that's like sneaky inflation. That's like, hey, if you're going to make the same 4 rolls from 3 years ago, 36 cents more, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with running out of toilet paper 2 days sooner and then having to go and buy more shit. I want honest pricing. But anyways,
How this I'll tell you how this relates to the apocalypse. Guys, stock up on your candy and your toilet paper.
Your Toblerone.
Okay, get your Toblerone while it's a decent size.
I've never had Toblerone.
Delicious.
Really? Never had it. Never interested me.
Good stuff.
I've never been a candy person.
Candy bars and luxury items like cigarettes and things, amazing barter tools for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You
Basically,
know.
anything
you don't just keep it for yourself. You also have to have some for bartering.
Think of it this way: anything you'd barter in prison is going to work for the apocalypse.
Yes.
And that includes hand jobs. Yeah, cigarettes. That's another one.
Yep, they say cigarettes. There's one prepping guy that I watched once on YouTube.
Alcohol.
And in his preps, he had this like Tupperware bin full of little dollar, those dollar liquor bottles.
Yep.
The ones you get like on a plane. He had a bunch of those, and he's like, these aren't just for us. This is to barter, because you're gonna have people that their booze, that need their cigarettes.
Genius.
Yes. So what you do is you keep, even cigarettes, if you don't smoke them, at least keep them and keep them fresh.
Hey, yo. You got any of that sweet SoCo?
No, seriously.
Oh, no. I know. That's such a cool effect. Anyway.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the liquor store, actually the grocery store, and they had a whole section for those dollar liquor bottles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they would have like, oh, you want a Mai Tai? You get this plus this, and it's like $2 a drink or something. And I was like, but that's brilliant. just have a big. They last. I mean, they're not going to go bad. They
No.
last forever.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the other thing. If you're doomsday prepping or apocalypse prepping, the stuff you're collecting, it's not like it's going to go bad. You're going to use it regardless.
Well, yeah, we rotate out our food.
You're like, all right, this can of corn has been sitting here for 4 years.
You got to rotate it out. That's why they always say, a big prepping mistake for people is buying food that you are never going to eat on a normal basis.
Right.
Because you can't just keep the same shit. You have to rotate it out. Even though a lot of it, has some stuff has a shelf life of 25 years. But
tuna, spam.
Depending on how it's kept, if it's stored properly,
Well, I've seen that Steve MRE.
I was just gonna say
he's
that guy's eating rations
World
from
War I bread.
Yep, I think the oldest thing I saw him eat was hardtack from the revolution. Was the Revolutionary War or the Civil War? I think it was maybe Civil War. Civil War area hardtack, and no, that guy eats oh my God, he eats like anything.
Yeah.
And he's
fit.
Fine. He's alive.
Yeah. Well,
he's only had food poisoning twice. So.
But it was probably a dairy product or maybe something that had opened.
You got to be careful about the canned stuff.
Yeah.
Because if it's bulging, you can't eat it.
Right.
Talking about botulism shit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you can keep bread in a can for 40 years and eat it and still say, yeah, this tastes like bread, then because I was gonna mention MREs.
Mm-hmm.
I might start stocking up on some.
We have some
24-hour ration things.
Yeah, they're actually sometimes they're not bad. I mean, but you got to get something you're going to eat. If you don't like pork, you're not going to want a case of
split pea and ham.
Yeah, you got to watch what's in them.
I don't know if it's an apocalypse. I hate ham.
You might have to eat some ham.
I'll eat it if I have to, but yeah,
I draw the line at people though.
I don't.
I don't. I couldn't eat a person.
I could.
I could not.
If I needed to.
No, I'd rather just die.
I'll eat a person right now. No.
And I'm not even starving.
I just ate. If it was an emergency situation and it was between me dying and someone else living, I'm eating them.
Yeah, I'm...
Can't eat them raw, though. I gotta cook them.
I couldn't do it.
Gotta be able to cook them.
I think that's demonic almost.
Yeah, you get... it's like Highlander. You get their power. You absorb their power by eating them.
Yeah, no thanks. No.
I mean, how do you think Courtney and Chloe and Kim look so young?
Well, they're definitely
they
drinking the
bathe in the blood
adrenochrome.
of the innocent.
They're definitely...
You couldn't eat... Hold on. You couldn't eat somebody.
No.
Okay, this is Everest.
Yeah, no, I would starve. I'd rather starve.
This is... You know what? I think, and I believe your conviction right now, but I think life or death, fight or flight kicks in. You're going to say a couple Hail Marys and you're roasting a leg.
No, I'm not.
What if... Okay. What if...
Swear to God, I wouldn't.
What if the other person was alive and they said, okay, let's cut the leg below the knee. We'll tourniquet. We'll eat this leg together. We'll both survive. You still wouldn't.
No.
So you die and let this guy eat his own leg.
He could eat as much of his leg as he wants.
What if you cut your leg?
I'm not cutting shit off me.
Okay. All right.
So that ain't happening.
What if you had a wound and the only choice was amputation?
Mm-hmm.
So you know you're going to lose part of your limb.
I won't eat it, but if someone else wants to eat it, have at it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, it's not crazy.
I think
That's
it is.
normal to me.
No, I think normal is not eating the leg when you have food available. I think it's crazy to choose to die.
Oh yeah, I
Than to eat.
I would die.
What's the difference between eating a chicken or an animal?
One is a chicken or an animal, and one is a human. There's a big difference.
It's all meat to me, baby.
No, baby.
Yeah.
No.
Give me that leg.
But this is a good reason to keep a few pounds on right now, because I definitely could go.
Well, that's why
I could probably go a month without eating.
That's why I
and be
haven't
totally
lost it.
Fine.
Actually, I think I did.
You don't want to go into the apocalypse underweight, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know,
You
you want a little bit of heft to you.
Yeah, you don't want to be fasting.
You don't want to be a total fucking my 600-pound life, because if you got to run, you might have to hop a fence or something. You can't be so out of shape that you can't defend yourself.
We're the perfect level of out of shape.
I think we're the perfect level of out of shape and fat assery.
Correct.
Is what I'm saying.
We've got it in all the right places.
Yes.
Yeah, because I could still run like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
Not very long.
If I have to run, I'll fucking run.
Fucking put me in, coach.
I still have a good amount of like leg strength and but you can't go into the apocalypse skinny.
I looked at a chart. Funny that you brought that up. I looked at a chart and I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, the average person, which is overweight in this country, but the average person could last 1 to 2 months without food. You still need water.
Yeah,
but
you need water for
1
sure.
to 2 months without food and surviving off your own
body
thighs.
fat, my own tits.
Yeah. So, and I respect your position, but I don't get it.
Yeah, no.
In fact, I would be the first person in the group to be like, yeah, we should just eat that motherfucker. Yeah, let's eat him.
So guys, I've been thinking, Dan's gotta go.
Yeah. But Tony, we have like 3 months of rations. I know, but hear me out. Dan's got a bum leg. He's holding us back. And he was a vegan, so the meat's good. I would be the first. If there was like a democratic vote for a group, I'd be like, yeah, nope, all for it. Vote him off the island. But then again, I'd probably be the one people would want to eat.
Why is that?
Well, because I look delicious. That's why. Look at this ass. You don't want some of this ass? No. I keep getting messages. So outside of eating my ass and MREs and
Little bottles of booze and
little
chocolate.
bottle of booze, which is great. I'm actually, every trip that I go to the grocery store, I'm gonna buy like 4 or 5.
Pick up a few of those. Pick up some. Now chocolate, can bloom and go bad, and
I would,
But
you could vacuum seal it.
yeah, if you like I said, if you store things properly, you can make stuff last for a long time.
I think it also depends on the choice of chocolate. Like, you don't want milk chocolate. you'd
Yeah,
probably
you want something that has like probably 70% or more cacao, maybe.
Yeah.
Like something really,
Yeah.
yeah, not as much,
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm gonna keep doing this. Yeah. So yeah, bottles of booze, canned food, MREs, um, batteries, maybe.
Yeah, batteries.
You know,
Yep, you gotta have
guns.
energy.
We already
Yep,
talked about that.
weapons.
So, all right, hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. Let's take a step back. How do you foresee the great apocalypse? What do you think is gonna? Do you think it's gonna be a gradual descent into chaos, or do you think someone's gonna drop a bomb or attack a city? Or
I'm more apt to think it's more biblical.
here we go. All right, go for it.
No, I think it would definitely be more biblical. So there will be,
A great
someone
flood.
no, someone who comes along, a politician. I want to say in Revelation, it's a politician, someone with a lot of power, something that now we would consider probably a politician, who comes along and fixes everything, and everyone, on both sides will come together and love this person and exalt them. And that person is the one who brings in the Antichrist.
What? Or they are the Antichrist.
Well, no, the way it is in Revelation is there's a politician wins people over, and then they are the ones who usher in the Antichrist. And it's all and it will be like the days of Noah, which, if you look around right now, is a lot like the days of Noah. No God, uh, everything that should be disgusting people doesn't disgust them. Debauchery. Shit's,
So you think someone's coming in to usher
there
in?
will be some kind of unrest, war going on, and someone's going to come in.
Like Ukraine?
Hey, there's theories about that it's that I think that Russia is there's Gog and Magog, and I can't remember if Gog is the person and Magog is the place, or if it's the other way around. But they say Russia is possibly Magog in Revelation.
Gog is the individual.
Okay.
And Magog is
Is
his
the place.
land
Yeah.
in Genesis. And Ezekiel, but cool.
But if you think about it, that is how I think it would have to be political, right? It would have to be global.
Yeah.
So, I mean, stuff is getting kind of scary. I'm not a fearmonger, though. I have a lot of hope, and I'm not fearful for my own family, because I know in the end, I have enough faith to know that I have nothing to worry about. We don't have to get into the religious part of it, but I don't fear it. I actually embrace it. And the me 10 years ago wouldn't have felt this way. I would have been very nervous and afraid. I'm not nervous and afraid. Even with what I know what is coming, I'm not nervous or afraid. but I know that it's coming.
Do you
I'm a
th-
realist.
You think it's a certainty?
Oh, it's a certainty.
So you think
It will be in our lifetime. I don't know when it will be. Personally, I say 5 years, but it could be 10 years. It could be 20 years. I think it'll definitely happen in our lifetime.
well, we're young.
But the
kind
way
of.
shit is going, I'm
You're sticking hard and fast. 5 years.
something. There's gonna be a major catastrophe.
Well, a natural catastrophe, or man-made,
I think
political,
well,
geopolitical.
it man-made, but it's being orchestrated by evil.
Orchestrated by evil. Okay. I'm not the most religious. I agree with everything you said. I don't think it necessarily needs a religious motivator. I think people are, just by the nature of people, is enough.
Well, yeah.
Evil, if that's what you want to call it.
It's definitely here. This is definitely a good and evil kind of fight.
So what you're saying is, Amber Heard is ushering in the Antichrist.
What I'm saying is fecal delivery might be the
Fecal?
seventh sign. No.
Fecal delivery. Man, I wish I had that sound bite. Or do I? Wait, hold on. What did you say?
The fecal delivery.
It's never going to get old.
No. Telling you.
Months
Merch.
I'm going to be using it.
Someone's got to have come out with merch with that with the way how fast everything goes.
I don't know. To be honest, I just heard this. I know the whole poop in the bed came out a couple days ago,
Yeah.
but I didn't hear the whole
Testimony.
testimony. So when I heard it, I was like, "What?" It's like fecal delivery. I have to change my. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna change your noise gate so you don't cut off. Okay. All right. Let's move away from the flood and the locusts. As much as I would love to discuss it with you,
The flood's Old Testament, but yeah.
Old Testament is best testament. So, all right, moving on from that. Well, actually, the only thing I want to add is I agree with what you said, but I still think it's got to be a major catalyst. Like, call it whatever you want, biblical or not, someone's dropping a bomb.
Something's happening. There's
And I
going
think
to be
the Ukraine and Russia thing, that's a preamble. That's just wetting the whistle. It's someone, and I think actually, I don't know how or what will transpire, but that will resolve itself. And then
there's always once something ends, there's always something else that precedes it like that.
yeah,
You know, first, it's COVID, then it's
Norm Macdonald passing.
yeah,
That was more of a tragedy.
yeah. Then now it's Ukraine, Russia, and now they're ushering in a new second second part of a script, which is food shortages and all this weird shit going on with these fires and these plants having all these accidents. And
Also, hot take, Ukraine, not that cool, guys.
was a shithole. Before, it's a shithole still.
Well, I think it's interesting how media forms these biases that are kind of unfounded. Like people, and I don't proclaim to know anything, but I think it's interesting how all of a sudden everybody's Team Ukraine flying Ukraine flags on their car, and it's like, but do you really know Ukraine?
Yeah. Do you even know? We don't know what the hell is going on. Personally, I think, whether it's false flag or not, because people say, but people are dying. Of course there's people dying. There's always going to be casualties.
More people die in Detroit.
There's always going to be casualties to these things. But I think all of these wars are just banker disputes, and it's a cover story for the bigger picture. Do you know what I'm saying? Because now they can blame a lot of things that are going on in our economy on COVID and on, all the issues with Ukraine and Russia, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm like in favor of war and people dying. Clearly, I'm not. But I also don't give a shit. Because I don't know enough to pick a side anyways. I mean, I know Putin's a fucking psycho, and I know he's killed his way to stay in power and all that. But that's not for me to, or other governments to interfere. I don't know. I just think, like I said, it'll play out. I don't know how. And then the real show begins.
Hmm?
And then maybe Putin is victorious and then gets a little greedy.
and if it's biblical, then Israel gets involved.
Well,
So you got
they're right there.
You got to start watching Israel too.
Well, they're always involved in some sort of
There's
conflict
always conflict over there, yeah.
over, religious land and such. I'm an idiot, so I don't know. If it's not on Facebook, I don't know. If my aunt isn't posting it in a Facebook group, I don't know.
If your favorite podcaster isn't tweeting it out, how would you know?
Who's your favorite
What?
podcaster?
I really like Owen Benjamin.
Owen Benjamin.
I guess you can consider that. That's a podcast, right? I would imagine
mean,
that's
if they
considered a podcast.
Talk,
Yeah.
record, post.
Yeah.
Well, podcasts used to be audio only, but it's morphed,
I like listening to Jim Brewer. His podcast is pretty funny.
Yeah.
No, I listen to a lot of Owen Benjamin.
I go more towards comedy podcasts. I mean, not saying Owen Benjamin isn't funny, but he's not a comedy, podcast per se. But have you seen the Always Sunny podcast?
No.
You gotta. Did you ever watch the show?
Yeah. I haven't seen all the seasons, but No, I used to like it. I
They
forget
have.
why we stopped watching it. I don't think there was a reason. I think maybe we just didn't get whatever channel it was on. And now I don't have cable, so
I don't.
what does it stream on?
FX2. I don't know. I stopped after like 5 or 6 seasons, and I mean no disrespect to that show, but it kind of turned into like The Simpsons for me. After so many years, it's like it's still funny, but it's not like, oh, I gotta watch it. But the podcast is you gotta
I
pull
think
it up.
with shows, 4 or 5 seasons max.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, and shit just goes south. The writing gets bad. I mean, and it's for every show I've ever seen that lasted more than 4 or 5 seasons. Walking Dead, atrocious.
Yeah. I've never seen it, but yeah.
Atrocious. Shameless was a great show up until about the 5th season. It was like,
We're talking sitcoms.
even sitcoms though. I mean,
Well, no, I meant like you're talking sitcoms or I mean drama show.
I think anything.
I don't know. I think I could watch 30 seasons of How It's Made or Ancient Aliens. I don't know. I think there's a lot of
I'm
different
not
shows.
talking about documentary type. I'm talking
That's what I
story,
meant.
written line, God, like written script, scripted. Whether it's comedy or drama, I just find 4 or 5 seasons to me tops.
I think
Who still watches The Simpsons?
that's a great question. Don't know.
Because new ones are still being made, right?
I think so.
Blows my mind.
Well, I stopped watching after I found out Matt Groening was a visitor of the Epstein Island.
Oh, he's another pig.
Oh yeah, he's a disgusting pig. Nobody talks about that though, but
Nobody talks about the Ren and Stimpy guy, the guy who created Ren and Stimpy. He was a big pig too.
yeah,
Pedophile pig.
yeah.
Allegedly.
But
I say allegedly, but we all know what I mean.
I mean, yeah, I know.
Have you rewatched any Ren and Stimpy lately?
Not lately. I've seen a bit of it recently. Still holds up. Still good.
I can't believe we watched that as kids. I can't believe that was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but I think it was like
Nick at Night or something.
yeah, I think it was after a certain time.
But still, you know, that's like Disney having adult programming
talking
after
about?
9 o'clock.
Fucking Tom and Jerry. Tom's smoking cigarettes and. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's-
Tom and Jerry were smoking cigarettes when we were watching Tom and
That's what
Jerry.
I meant.
Yeah.
Like, there's, a sequence of events. Like it fit. It wasn't totally outlandish. I mean, if you look at the fucking shit that was on TV, cartoon-wise, 60, 70 years ago, they can't show that now. Disney Plus had to scrub their library. Bunch of dudes dancing around in blackface. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I watched it and I was like, this is like not for kids. But I mean, the merch was towards kids. Even given, okay, at night, Nickelodeon turns into, I guess like Cartoon Network has Adult Swim, you know, like
Aqua
I get it.
Television on MTV
Yeah.
back in the day.
I get it, but at the same time, it was marketed towards kids. There was Ren and Stimpy toys, there was Ren and Stimpy clothes and lunch boxes, and
What about Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Same thing.
that wasn't nearly, I don't know. I haven't watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force in a while, but I watched Ren and Stimpy, and I was like, there's it's not necessarily all completely. It's a lot of innuendo.
Yeah.
You know.
Left to interpretation.
Yeah. A lot of innuendo, but like when you're an adult, you know what's going on, but a 7-year-old, it's going to go over their head. But still, it's like, I don't know. Doesn't shock me that the creator was a fucking weirdo.
Boys and girls, this is your old pal Stinky Whizzleteeth. This is a song about a whale. No,
Come on.
this is a
fantastic.
song about being happy. That's right.
Happy.
It's the
Joy,
happy,
joy,
joy song.
What? I mean,
Happy, joy, happy, joy. Happy, joy.
Happy.
talk about informational. That's better than anything you'll see today. But yeah, no, I get it. The reason it was...
It's a log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
But the reason it was intentionally over our head with innuendo, I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was the perfect children's cartoon on Nick. The kids are going to want to buy the plushies and the merch, but the parents don't want to blow their brains out. Because they could watch it and go, I get what's going on here. The old meat on me
The
day.
old meat on me day.
We can watch it and quote it and laugh about it. And I don't have to hear Baby Shark, or I don't have to watch Caillou.
So what you're saying is we should ruin children's brains as long as it doesn't affect us.
See?
I'm learning.
Yes. That is the goal. Ruin their brains, entertain mine.
Yeah.
Fuck those kids.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
See? I spend so much time
And then
and
we
energy.
wonder why this up and coming generation is the way it is.
Well, I think next to our parents' generation, which is the worst, like baby boomer.
Baby boomer is more like our grandfather, right?
Maybe.
Because our parents were born in the 60s.
Okay, I don't know exactly, but I'll look it up. I think that's still boomer
Baby
territory.
boomers was the boom after World War II,
Yeah.
I thought. So you're talking 50s.
Yeah, but I think it encompasses some of the, maybe not the 60s that our parents grew up in, but let me look it up. Boomer, I don't know. Boomer generation?
Generation. It'll give you a
Yeah,
timeline.
generation years. 64.
Okay.
So right on the cusp.
Yeah, okay.
They're basically boomers.
They're basically boomers.
Basically.
Basically.
And then most people our age do have older parents. You know, just because our parents were skanks doesn't speak for the rest of our generation's
Hey,
parents.
if it were today, we'd be aborted. So
Yeah.
at least we were born.
Yeah. If you could find an abortion clinic. But yeah, boomers are the worst generation. Then it's our kids. So far.
I don't know. I do have hope for them. I think if they're steered in the right direction, I think they have potential.
Yeah. There's only so much steering we can do.
I mean, a lot of the problem I think is electronics and stuff.
Yeah. They're the worst.
You know, it's growing up. That's why none of my kids have social media. I don't allow social media. Mikey doesn't even have a phone yet. Sophia has a phone, but she doesn't really use it. Like she barely uses it. When we get the bill, like she's barely on her phone. She's got an iPad though, so she's on that thing. But I don't know. I think if you start steering your kids in the right direction and start weaning them off of the electronics and incorporating outside stuff, I think they have potential. The problem is, you know, there's a lot of people in our generation who are fucking shit awful parents.
Correct.
I mean, I'm sure every generation has it. There's
Yeah.
you're always going to have good and bad parents. It's going to be everywhere. But I think if you're gonna claim that this our kids' generation is the worst, you got to blame who's raising them. Kids don't raise themselves. Well, I guess some do raise themselves, and that's another problem. But there's a lot of parents out there who should not be parents.
Yeah, I would say a very large portion shouldn't be parents. But
But then you got to think, well, why is our generation the way it is? It's because of the way the boomer generation. So it's a cycle.
yeah, but
It's a cycle.
I don't think our generation is okay. Most people our age I can't stand. But I think in terms of like technological advancements, maybe even social, even if you're opposed or not into that, but I think a lot of that is perpetuated by our generation. And the boomers did nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing, but
Spoiled.
they're spoiled, complainer, Yeah, I get it, Mom. You had a house and you were a meat slicer. I get it. But you can't do that now.
No.
It's
No.
just not the way
The
it is.
economy is completely different.
Yeah. And our kids.
And inflation, and the world's just a completely different place.
Yeah. And our kids are completely. Our kids and their generation are way more spoiled than the boomers. So that's why I have hope, but I hope they don't continue to grow up with that, mentality. Most parents, I mean, we're guilty. We spoil our kids, obviously.
Mm-hmm. But
There's, there are caveats to that. There are rules in this house.
yeah, like if my
Someone's
kid
got to
was-
wash daddy's balls.
No.
You're not
You
getting your
gotta-
allowance
to me,
until
it's-
you wash daddy's balls.
Fetch me the remote.
And play some Billie Jean. Daddy likes his balls washed to the beat of Billie Jean.
You're going to have to give a disclaimer here for the people who are vaccine damaged or are mentally challenged that you're joking.
No, I don't. I hope they do.
Wash your balls.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I hope somebody washes them, because I sure as shit ain't, but...
You're talking when you're older. Are you what do you mean?
No, what I'm saying is I hope people get offended by what I say. Because if you can't tell I'm joking, don't listen. Don't listen to this.
Yes.
That's my disclaimer.
This won't be for you.
Everything I say is complete bullshit. And if you haven't picked up on that, then you are not my intended audience.
Yeah.
I'm clearly not having my children cradle my balls lovingly while playing Billie Jean. As much as I wish they did. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying.
Okay.
Not important.
All right. Kids are spoiled. There are rules.
Yeah, there's rule. I mean, they have to do good in school. I don't. I'm not gonna.
Chores.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy
No.
my kid something if he's being a dick. Like they
Right.
don't just get whatever they want at all times.
Yeah, that's my problem.
But yes, they are spoiled. They do have a lot of stuff. That's why, like I said earlier, before the podcast, I hate the fucking word bored.
Yeah. So do I. But overstimulus
Mm-hmm.
and we're to blame. I've always said, if I took the youngest and I drove block and a half away from the house, he'd die. If I drove that far, dropped
He doesn't
him
know
off,
where to go.
no,
Not even a block and a half.
there's no way. He doesn't even know our address.
Why?
It just,
I don't understand.
I blame myself. I
Yeah,
don't enforce. I am a pushover when it comes to a lot of things, but there's a reason. I'm just very whatever. And it bites me because shit like that. But I don't know. I always said at a young age, I was like, I'm going to be the coolest fucking dad that's ever walked the earth. And I am. But it comes
With a price?
with a price. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kid can't survive.
I don't want to be friends with. I don't care if my kids think
It's not
I'm
about
cool.
friends.
I don't care if my kids think I'm cool or not. In fact, one day Jacob and Mikey, they were mad at me because I was, God
Oh, we're
forbid you
using names?
discipline. Well, I don't care.
Okay.
God forbid I discipline them, And they said, like you're the worst mom. You're awful. You're just the worst mom. I hate you. It's like, good. That means I'm doing it right.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
a certain extent. I'm not saying I think you misread. I don't care if the kids think I'm cool. I want to know I'm cool. It's all in my brain. I want to be cool to them for me. But again, comes with a price.
And how does this relate back to the apocalypse?
We're killing the
Because-
children first.
Clearly.
They're going to hold us back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Actually,
Look at the flowers, Mikey.
we'll
No.
just, yes. Close your eyes. Let me put on some Billie Jean. Yeah, obviously, first sight of a missile, my kids are going to fight to the death to see who's the strongest and see who will carry on the legacy. Obviously, that's
Clearly.
yeah. Could you imagine
What?
my kids fighting to the death? That'd be amazing. Who would win? Who would you put money on?
Nicholas has
He's the dark horse.
he's got the height and the build and all of that, but Ian wrestles.
Oh, Ian is. I don't think I told you this. Super proud dad moment, even though he put in all the work. I didn't do anything, but he is a future Olympian. Got the letter and
Awesome.
everything. So yeah, he's clearly the athletic choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man.
But he's a lot smaller.
He's so small. But I don't know if you've seen him recently. He's still teeny, but kid's built like a brick shit house. Like, it's not to say that I was necessarily built, but for a couple of years there, I was in some pretty good shape. Dude, that kid. I mean,
Yeah, he's an athlete for sure.
so, but, and by the way, anybody that's listening to this, if you saw my kids side by side, you would never think
They were related.
they were related.
I could see cousin maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Definitely from the same family, but
Yeah.
not brothers.
Ian looks just like me. Nicholas has features, but he has my personality. Like, dude, we were doing a game night.
Mm-hmm.
I turned to him. I was like, I didn't know you were this funny. You're hilarious.
Sophia's very funny too.
Yeah, I could see that. But you wouldn't expect it.
No.
It's very unexpected when it happens. And in that moment, and maybe a lot of parents will agree, in those little moments that you catch a whiff of your DNA, there's something about that that's like satisfying, maybe, because I find myself to be very entertaining. And when I am entertained by my child, that's a big deal. You're like, huh, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay in this world. You're going to make it, buddy.
Mikey is coming into his personality, I'm noticing. Because he's very quiet and
Well,
shy.
They're all kind of
Yes.
quiet and shy.
Yeah. But and he's one of those kids where you think he's not paying attention, but he's listening to everything,
Sure.
And he says stuff all the time where he'll just come up with these one-liners, like, out of nowhere. And I'll look over at him and I'll go, clever. Like,
Clever.
that is clever. See? He's okay. He's, like you said, he's going to make it. He's got the stuff.
He's got it.
Sophia is like an adult with, like, her humor is very much mature. She has a very mature sense of humor and wit. You
should bring her. You should do a podcast with her.
It would be, I'm telling you, it'd be pretty hilarious.
I was throwing around the idea in my head because I don't see these glasses. I don't see it very often. I think people dismiss the cleverness and the sense of humor of adolescence. I think it would be interesting to have us do a podcast talking about the things that we're going to talk about and hearing what they have to say. Sophia, what's your take?
Oh, Sophia is very neutral, middle of the road.
Well, she's young.
Yes.
Yeah. Still forming
She's
her
still
opinions.
an optimist. She's not jaded yet. So I want to kind of, that's cool. But you don't want your kids too naive. You want to tell them how it really is, but you kind of want to keep their spirit intact also. So
Yep. I remember I told most of my wisdom, as I like to call it, is passed in car rides. So when we take, I mean, even short car rides, but when me and Nicholas or me and Ian are in the car is usually when I, go into things. And, Ian doesn't live that close. So usually on our car rides home, I'm talking about credit, and, all the things nobody taught me. What is APR? I asked him, I was like, how much does a car cost? I mean, I heard everything from 1,000 to 5,000. I'm like, all right, so we clearly have to have discussions about what things cost.
Mm-hmm.
But Ian has his phone out and he's taking notes, which, hey, I'm all for. But I don't want to jade them too much, like you said, because most of the things we've learned was through years and years of making poor choices. Nobody taught us anything. I mean, the majority of our lives were Chicago public schools that
Yeah.
didn't teach us anything. Nobody taught you or I.
Well,
what-
I've always been a reader, so I always kind of
Well,
taught myself stuff
sure.
too.
But I just mean in general. Like nobody taught me, the value, credit, loans,
No,
buying a house.
no.
What and these are things that like kids, they need to know. And the education system is more interested in gender studies than how to balance
A checkbook?
your checkbook, or even if nobody fucking uses a checkbook, and I get that, I don't, but you still should know because it teaches you other things, budgetary and all that. So unfortunately, our education system isn't teaching anyone these things.
Yeah, it's the parents' response. It's yes, public school system is garbage, but it's also a parent's responsibility to make up for whatever is lacking in the public school system.
So what you're
So-
saying is our parents were garbage.
I try not to look at it that way because
What way do you look at this?
well, it's taken me a long time to just now that I have kids of my own and I have two of them are teenagers, I kind of view it as they did their best with what they had, and not just what they had money-wise, but what they had in emotional maturity too. So I try not to hold it against them or hold resentment anymore because
Did this turn into a therapy?
we're getting Dr. Phil again.
Do I need a box of tissue? Like what?
You asked me a question, I'm answering.
I've only had 2 drinks. I don't know if I can. All right, continue.
You asked the question.
I didn't ask a question.
Yeah, you
Oh,
did.
technically it
You
wasn't.
did.
But it was more rhetorical, but sure.
No, I I try not to hold it against them. And I would hope that my kids, when they're older, don't hold things against me either. Because I know I'm going to fuck up also. And they're always going to remember that one time you got mad and you said, like, they're all just like
And
we
you
remember.
lit my toys on fire. Do you remember when you strangled the dog in the bathtub because we didn't pick up its shit?
No, that didn't really happen. But
Folks, I'm kidding. It didn't happen.
no.
I agree. I have the
You've-
same view.
Yeah.
I don't hold grudges. Well, at least when I was younger, I don't. But I also know that I was a young parent, younger than you. And I was in a much worse spot than you. And I made tons of mistakes raising these kids. And I hope the same way that you do that, 10 years from now, they don't think about the 21-year-old me that was a waste of space, which is part of the reason why I am the way I am. Now, they get whatever they want now. Because 13 years ago, I could barely afford a fucking Happy Meal. So yeah, of course I'm gonna... Yeah, you want that fucking Steam game? Sure, buy it. I don't give a shit. Because in my brain, I'm going, all right, so this makes up for that Happy Meal.
You have a running tally
I
going.
have a tally.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, I remember that one time that I cracked Nicholas in the head because he was annoying me and I was hungover. Yeah, get those V-Bucks. Sure. Okay, cross that off the list. So yeah. Unfortunately, my tally's long.
So what you're
saying
is what you're saying is you could be a shit parent, but everything's absolved as long as you're caving into every last whim of their wants and needs.
Yeah. Actually, what I'm really saying is...
The fecal delivery.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Greatest soundbite ever. Yeah. If you fuck up as a young parent, you gotta keep a tally, obviously. Am I the only one that does?
I keep a mental. I kind of have a similar thing. Not exact, but a
Haven't you
similar
ever
thing.
blown up and then
Oh, yeah.
reflected and gone, I may have gone off the deep end on that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, hey, go ahead, have that popsicle. Because there's been so many... Okay, so I have an aversion to loud noises. I hate them. I hate loud, crashy... I don't know why.
Mike is the same way.
I can't if he's doing the dishwasher and drops something, I'm like, pew, 0 to 100. Can't do it. And then I'll reflect and I'll go, I feel bad. And then I'll be like, hey, you need some V-Bucks or something?
So you don't say, "Hey, I'm sorry
No.
for."
I don't apologize for anything.
I just buy my kids stuff.
I buy their love and affection, obviously. Well, that is my love language.
Stuff.
Yeah, buying stuff. It's always been well, not always, but recently within the past few years.
So we're calling it love language now.
Yes, that is... Well, that's what they call it. Usually it's
Who's
more...
they?
Well, like I said, it that is more of a term in like couples therapy and things like that. Like,
What's my love
what's your part?
language?
Well, it's not a BuzzFeed article. It's just, certain people have different love languages. Touch, words of affirmation, gifts. Mine is gifts. Because
So in the apocalypse, we're not going to have Amazon Prime and the ability to buy awesome gifts. What would be a good gift in the apocalypse, given there's no...
a little bottle of Jack. Here you go. Here's this little mini 2-ounce bottle of Jack Daniels.
That would be a good gift.
For me? Or to other people?
For you.
Yeah, absolutely. We are at time, I think. This has been fun.
Been a slice.
I'm Tony.
And I'm Tina.
And this is the insert podcast name here. All right. I don't know. What are we going to talk about next time? I mean, we did Apocalypse. We did Captain Jack. And
Well, whatever
Aquawoman.
new is taking up the distraction of the black screen. So,
Got
because
it.
something else will come up.
sure.
Someone will die.
The Queen. I'm calling it. I think she's already dead.
It's like a Weekend at Bernie's situation.
Yeah, they got her.
She's like a marionette.
Yeah, they got her propped up. Yeah,
I'm alive. Not really.
yeah. They got her propped up on Yorkshire tea. I don't know. Yeah. Big old pair of blue blockers so people can't see those white eyes. Yeah, she's dead for sure. But yeah, I'm sure something else will come
There's
around.
always something.
All right. Well, catch you later.
Peace out.